"Look what I found yesterday," he said, bringing home a branded dress for our daughter. It was an ordinary day, not her birthday, Christmas, or anything like that. My husband, Jim, smiles as he handed the dress to our daughter. It was a bit expensive for a gift. I wondered if there was nothing for our son, Sean. As I watched, no present was given to him. Turning my gaze towards my son, I saw him intently watching the exchange between my husband and our daughter. My daughter Anna, only 3 years old, happily reached for the branded dress. She innocently exclaimed, "Yay, pretty!" Concerned about her son, I tried to divert his attention. "Sean, look, your favorite cartoon is on TV," I said, but he kept his eyes fixed on the dress in our daughter's hands. I am Kathy, a 35-year-old housewife. 5 years ago, I divorced my ex and took custody of my 1-year-old son, Sean, and met my current husband, Jim, while figuring out how to live as a single mother. Jim was a regular customer at the diner where I started working part-time right after my divorce. We got close through casual conversations and eventually exchanged phone numbers. Being of the same age, we quickly hit it off. We met up frequently and we both started thinking about marriage. I loved Jim, but my main concern was always Sean. Sean's well-being was my top priority, so even though I was considering marriage, I had my doubts. However, Jim was always kind to Sean. Sean also grew fond of him, which led me to decide on remarriage. I hoped to build a better family life for Sean this time. Our life after remarriage was as happy as I had imagined. Jim remained as kind as before the marriage, and Sean seemed happy to have a father. On days off, we went to the park as a family, playing catch and having fun. My relationship with Jim was good. Shortly after our marriage, we had our daughter, Anna, and started our new life as a family of 4. It was a peaceful, fulfilling life, with daily happiness from seeing the smiles of my husband and children. But as days passed, I started to feel troubled about our life. The kids grew quickly, and when Sean turned 5 and Anna 3, they started kindergarten. They got along well, but the problem was Jim's attitude. Initially, Jim showed equal love to both Sean and Anna, but as they grew, his behavior changed. Returning from the park, he would always wash hands with Anna first, serve her snacks first, and begin to favor her. At first, I thought it was trivial, but Jim's affection increasingly focused only on Anna. I wondered if it was because fathers naturally favor their daughters. But how could my gentle husband do that? Was there a reason? Despite my thoughts, I couldn't accept this change in his attitude and kept convincing myself it was just my imagination. However, the reality didn't change, and Jim's attitude towards Sean only worsened. His attention increasingly shifted to Anna. I thought, is it because Anna is his blood-related child? The thought alone brought me to tears. The difference in his attitude became more obvious. He would only hold hands, play, and cuddle with Anna. Seeing Sean watching them from a distance made me feel unbearable. I once asked Jim, "Hey, can you pay a bit more attention to Sean?" But he simply replied,
"Of course, I do that, right?"
Eventually, even when Sean tried to join into their conversation, Jim ignored him. Despite Sean's repeated attempts to get his attention, Jim finally snapped.
"Quiet."
Seeing Sean's sad face, I lost it. Sean's been trying to get your attention for a while. Why ignore him? You can hear him. I confronted Jim, but Jim retorted,
"What did I do wrong? It's Sean's fault for interrupting me and Anna. I want to talk to Anna. Don't bother us."
His attitude towards Sean got worse from there. Jim would visit his parents' house a few times a month, always on weekends when Sean had baseball practice. Sean, having developed an interest in baseball through playing catch with Jim, had joined a local team and was quite skilled. At first, I thought Jim's schedule overlapping with Sean's practice were coincidental. But as it happened repeatedly and Jim took only Anna to his parents, I started to suspect he was doing it intentionally. After a month of this, Jim came home one day and said,
"I found this yesterday. Isn't it perfect for our cute Anna?"
He handed Anna a branded dress. It was an ordinary day, not her birthday, Christmas, or anything like that. Jim handed the dress to Anna with a smile. It was an expensive gift. I wondered if there was nothing for Sean, but nothing was given to him. Sean just watched Jim and Anna's interaction. Anna happily reached for the dress Jim offered. She joyfully shouted, "Yay! Pretty!" Concerned for Sean, I tried to distract him. "Sean, look, your favorite cartoon is on TV," I said, but he kept looking at the dress in Anna's hands. Ignoring Sean, Jim and Anna were in their own world.
"This dress will definitely suit you, Anna. Let's wear it next time we go to Grandma's house."
"Yes, I'll show it to Grandma. Thanks, Dad."
Anger surged within me as Jim ignored Sean and talked happily with Anna. I couldn't stand Jim's behavior and was about to say something. That's when Sean dropped the bombshell.
"Dad, is that the one you bought with Mrs. Lisa yesterday?"
Mrs. Lisa, mentioned by my son, is a teacher at the kindergarten attended by our children. She's young, charming, and popular among the parents for her friendliness. I couldn't understand why she was being brought up in this context. As I pondered, my son, Sean, pressed on, asking his father, Jim.
"Right, Dad?"
It seemed Sean was sure about something. Jim, who had been responsive until then, suddenly became silent. I turned to look at him. His expression was frozen. His face was completely pale. For a moment, I was worried whether he was even breathing. Then Jim stuttered.
"What are you talking about?"
I watched him with a cold gaze as he blurted out a clumsy excuse.
"I found this on my way home from work. Thought Anna might like it. I'll look for something Sean will like next time. What do you like, huh? Oh, it's time for my bath."
With that, he nervously retreated to his room. Unable to fully hide the situation, my distrust towards Jim grew. The next day, Jim went to work as usual, showing no sign of his previous nervousness. While giving snacks to the kids back from kindergarten, I probed. "That's right, Anna. You must be happy with the dress from Dad yesterday. Sean, about what you said, what do you mean that your father bought it with Mrs. Lisa?" Sean, munching on a cream puff, replied,
"Oh, that. I heard it from Anna. She often meets Mrs. Lisa when he goes out."
"What? Mrs. Lisa from kindergarten?"
"Yeah. You know her, right, Mom?"
"Yes, I know her, but..." I casually asked, "Oh, is it a coincidence? Why? Is it maybe because Mrs. Lisa lives nearby?"
"I don't know that, but Mrs. Lisa found the dress. Right, Anna?"
"Yeah, Mrs. Lisa said it was cute in the store. When Dad and I are out, Mrs. Lisa often comes there."
"I see. Good that she found you a cute dress. Where did you meet her? Near Grandma's house?"
"No, we went there by car, to a place with lots of shops."
Anna, being only 3, couldn't explain well, but I could only think of one place with many shops, the newly built shopping center. Listening to the kids, I speculated. Perhaps Jim was meeting Mrs. Lisa at the shopping center, taking Anna along for a shopping date. If that were true, it was unforgivable. Not just the cheating, but using the kids as a cover for it was despicable. Jim had adored Sean before we had Anna, but his attitude changed blatantly after having his own child. This made me feel bad for him as well as a growing anger within me. Having gleaned this information from the kids, I decided to cool my head. Thinking about how to get back at Jim, I reached out to my friend from high school, Becky. She's been divorced twice, and she's a single mother, having gone through many tough situations. Becky promptly replied to my message. "Oh, that's bad news. Definitely fishy." Her blunt message left me feeling like I had been thrown into the abyss, despite being prepared for it. She advised, "First, observe your husband. Check the car navigation history if he goes out. Also, keep an eye on the other woman. Might be good to hire a private investigator. I'll recommend one." Hiring an investigator would cost money, but it's necessary. Following Becky's advice, I started with what I could do and checked the car navigation history, but found no record. I had never thought to check this before and assumed it was just how it worked. Becky later suggested that Jim might have deleted the history to hide evidence. Frustrated by how naive I've been and Jim's secretive behavior, I decided to check Mrs. Lisa's behavior at the kindergarten. She greeted the children with a warm smile as usual. "Good morning. Thank you for today."
"Ah, morning, Kathy. Hello, Sean, Anna. Ready for a fun day?" Let's play together. I'll take good care of you.
Despite our usual conversation, there was no change in her demeanor. The thought of her betraying me with a friendly smile was almost enough to make me distrust people altogether. I had already requested a private investigator who assured me,
"We'll report any developments."
So, it was a waiting game. Jim, oblivious to my suspicions, continued to dote on Anna as usual. About 2 weeks later, the investigator contacted me.
"We've caught him in the act."
The next day, an envelope from the investigator's office contained several photos, including one of Jim grinning with Lisa, caught in their carefree moments. The photos showed them being affectionate with each other. Struggling to breathe as I looked at them, I tried to calm my anger. Meanwhile, Jim was still clueless. That night, he casually mentioned,
"I've got to go to my parents' house this weekend."
I feigned interest. "Oh, really? Anything I can help with?" Jim, slightly flustered, replied,
"No, I've got it. You have Sean's baseball, right? I'll take Anna. Don't worry."
Holding back my swirling anger, I replied with a fake smile, "Sure, give my regards to your mom." Jim, not anticipating what was coming, reassured me with a relaxed face.
"Yep, got it. Don't worry."
He must have taken my smile as genuine kindness. Determined to do more than just present him with divorce papers, I steadily prepared for a plan to confront him this weekend. Unaware of everything, my husband Jim seemed excited as the weekend approached. And then the weekend came. "I'm off to watch Sean's baseball game."
"All right, I'm taking Anna to visit my parents' house. Might be back late."
After this exchange, I was sure Jim was meeting Lisa today, given his overly cheerful tone. Pretending to be oblivious, I left the house with Sean before Jim. Before leaving, I had sneakily placed a small GPS tracker in Anna's backpack. Even if he erased the car navigation history, I could track where they went. While watching Sean's game, I kept checking the GPS on my smartphone. The tracker seemed to be working well. The GPS showed their movements. Instead of his parents' house, Jim and Anna arrived at a trendy park near the sea, likely to meet Lisa there. Just imagining that scene filled me with alternating waves of anger and revenge. As planned, I called my mother. I had already informed my parents about the evidence of the affair, so the conversation was quick. "Hello, Mom. He just went out saying he's visiting his parents."
"I've already checked with them. He's not there." "All right, proceed as planned."
"Okay, thanks." After ending the call, I asked a mom friend to take Sean home and headed back myself. On my way, I received a message from my mom saying,
"Everything's done as planned."
I had conspired with my parents and in-laws to make Jim confess. Once Jim said he was leaving for his parents, my mother-in-law called him saying,
"I'm nearby and would like to stop by your house. I won't see Sean, but I'd love to see Anna."
I had already given them Jim's contact information. I couldn't be at home when my parents arrived, or the lie would be exposed. Receiving the call, Jim would rush home in a panic. We all planned to confront him there. By now, Jim would be hurrying back. Soon after I got home, both my parents and in-laws arrived. We showed them the photos of the affair sent by the detective. Both sets of parents sighed as they flipped through them.
"How shameful. Taking only Anna."
They repeated words like disgraceful and embarrassing as they looked at the photos. About an hour after we arrived, Jim came home flustered. Seeing his father's car, he must have panicked. He stormed into the room.
"Mom, what's this sudden visit?" "Huh? Kathy's parents too? What's going on with everyone here?"
Jim was clearly confused by the gathering of both families. My mother stood up, took Anna, who was beside a bewildered Jim, and went to another room. My father-in-law said in a stern voice,
"Sit down."
The table was laid with photos of the affair. Jim, sweating profusely, finally understood the gravity of the situation and sat down. The confrontation with Jim lasted about an hour. After a thorough grilling from my father, the in-laws, and me, Jim was forcibly taken to his parents' house by his father. During the discussion, Jim kept making pathetic excuses like,
"It was just a whim. I was going to stop."
Seeing my state of anger and sadness, my father-in-law assured me,
"It must be unpleasant for you to be with him. We'll take him back. Don't worry."
Jim admitted to his affair with Lisa and apologized to me. He fell in love with Lisa's smile during kindergarten pickups and somehow got her contact details. It seemed the feelings were mutual, and they developed a romantic relationship after a while. Jim, adoring his biological daughter Anna, lied about her wanting to meet Lisa and started taking her to meet his mistress. Realizing Anna was fond of her, Jim began contemplating marrying Lisa, taking Anna along. He lied about visiting his parents just to introduce Anna to Lisa, and that's why he was always taking Anna with him. The dress he bought was found during one of their dates. He must not have expected Anna to tell Sean about it. When Jim bluntly stated he couldn't love Sean after Anna was born, I mercilessly presented him with divorce papers saying, "We don't need a father or a husband like you. Let's just get a divorce." Jim sat there, face wet with sweat and tears. He was taken in by his parents, allowing me to spend time back at home until the divorce was filed without stress. Eventually, we officially divorced. One day I noticed Lisa's name among the resignations in a newsletter from the kindergarten. According to rumors among the moms, she had relations with several fathers of the children. Known for liking handsome men, Jim wasn't her only partner. I heard a rumor that Lisa dumped Jim right after our divorce. She was caught dating another man by one of the kindergarten moms, and the photos spread through the parents' group chat, eventually reaching kindergarten. I was reminded of the power of parental networks. The kindergarten's notice cited that she resigned due to health issues, but it was clear she was fired. As for Jim, he had been commuting to work from his parents' place, but after the rumor of the divorce due to his affair spread throughout his company, he felt ostracized and requested a transfer. He's supposed to move to another region next month. I consulted with a lawyer and sued both Jim and Lisa for damages. Using our child for their affair allowed me to claim a substantial amount. I found a house that was up for rent, not too far from my parents, planning to move there when the kids start elementary school. I intended to enjoy a peaceful rural life there with the help from my parents. Back to being a single mother, I have no regrets. I've decided to raise my children calmly in the quiet countryside.